I'm actually curious what your thoughts or reactions are about the cheating incident in the Apprentice, because integrity is so important to you. What was your reaction about that situation?
Lisa was telling me her side of the story of what actually went down, things with Gonzalo, the case where he cheated, he's being dishonest, and like why she did what she did. And she shared more about her stories of what made her the person she is today. I think I respect her in being authentic and being real about who she is. And I think seeing that side of her that no one else had seen made me empathize more with her. Like what Chadri says, right? In life, there's always one side to the things, second side, and there's the truth, whatever it may be. I've spoken to both because ever since Gonzalo was eliminated, he's been like bombarding me and Winston with messages. And he's like, you gotta show Chadri to prove that Lisa actually cheated and stuff like that. So it was quite overwhelming, but the evidence was there. I do think that Gonzalo is not the only person at fault, because you also see it on the show. Lisa, Aisha, and Gonzalo, they all saw that plan. This all happened during episode 5 in Singapore when Aisha, Gonzalo, and Lisa were on the same team. They saw it during their the yacht sales challenge. You know, in the end, we're all humans and we are here to win, because there could only be one winner. Sometimes people just like do whatever it takes to win.
But it is in these moments where people do whatever they take to win. It's when your true values and philosophies show, right? That's when your true character show.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. That's what Chadri says as well. Because there were no rules at all. You can throw people under the bus, you can backstab the other person. There's no rules that say you cannot do that. So you can do whatever you want, but the consequences, the outcome will really depend, because that might show certain character of yourself, and Chadri will take that into consideration. So for me, I would always hold on to integrity, because my mom would always tell me it's very important. Sometimes you feel like you can take shortcuts to success, but when no one is watching, do the right thing. Even if it takes you longer to get to where you want to be. If you backstab people, if you lie, you cheat, you steal, you will not feel peace.
Yeah, so true. It'll always haunt you. I know you hate liars. You did say it on the show. And you talked about the importance of integrity. I quote, "I hate liars because the truth will set you free." I rewatched that part.
I don't remember I said that.
You did say that.
But I agree with it.
Because you mentioned you've been hurt by liars before. Was there a significant incident that really sealed this value into you, integrity?
Yeah, I think it's the incident with my parents' divorce, because my dad did something that had destroyed the family, but then even after all these years, he still hasn't come clean about it. I don't understand why it's so hard for him to just admit his mistake and be like, okay, I'm sorry about it, this happened. Instead, he tried to put up this perfect image of who he is. And I do question myself, because he's a family member, right? He's my biological dad, and I grew up with him half of my life. And to have someone so close, so dear to me, lying, after all these years, he had so many chances to make it right, but he did not. It just really shake the trust that I have in humanity, because someone so close to you can do that. What about strangers? What about people who are non-family members?
And I think because of the divorce, your mom had to go through a lot, right, growing up. I did mention that she struggled with finances. I think depression as well. And she needed, I don't know if I read the right source, or correct me if I'm wrong, she actually knocked on doors to try to get you and your brother into school?
She did that. I also did that. I also did that at such a young age. So I was like cold emailing schools, calling up schools. She guided me to do that, but I was the one who actually went out of my way to do it. And whenever schools are like, okay, come in, take some tests, do some interviews, the principal, the headmaster is interested to see your potential, my mom would drive me there.
literally to try to find ways to get you the education with the little money that you guys have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we were trying to do. It was a big struggle because that was a 180 flip of my life as well, from someone who do not take my future or academic seriously. I immediately become someone who's like very hungry to make the best out of every opportunity given to me and not waste any single one of them.
Yeah. In the end, you and your brothers got full scholarships, right, to top schools in Thailand.
Yeah, we both did. We did not have to pay a single penny, and that was a huge relief for my mom. My mom was in a very bad place after my parents' divorce. I think I said this before to Chatri, but it wasn't aired onto The Apprentice. My mom thought of committing a suicide. She planned to just like kill both me and my brother and end her own life, to just end all suffering, because she just didn't see the light. She didn't see hope. She still shared this story to a lot of her friends and just as a living testimony to people, because we were in a very bad place, especially for her. Without the support from her family and also from anyone else, she was in a foreign country in Thailand. She's not Thai.
Oh,
she grew up in Indonesia, yeah. And she married my dad. So without the right support system and still having to care for me and my brother, I knew that she was under a lot of stress and pressure because she is so determined to provide the best future for both me and my brother. It's just mother instinct.
Yeah. I think this story, your mother's story, is a beautiful testament to the phrase, which is that in the darkest moment, the human spirit can be the strongest. You and your brother and your mother's human spirit, she had the darkest thoughts, but in the end, she chose to maybe rely on that one bit of trust and faith that everything will be okay, and she fought so hard for you and your brother to be where you are today, which is crazy. I can't believe they didn't put this on Apprentice, but like, I think this shows exactly why you're so gritty and you're so hard and you're so, like, you made it to the top.
Yeah.
Right? And when you really want something,
for sure,
you get it done because you needed to do that in the past, literally for your life, literally for your future. I mean, you sharing this, I feel like your life as a child was harder than The Apprentice.
Yeah, I agree. Or my entrepreneurial journey with Jamology as well. I'd say sometimes we only see the success path of successful people, but oftentimes there's so many other incidents or occasions where all we received were rejections.
Yeah.
And that were like the darkest moments of our life, which will never be talked about normally because people often want to portray the success story of like why this person get to where they are today.
I read an article that in the early days, you raised funding from families and VCs and you built your first factory from scratch.
Yeah.
And you lost, I think, about almost $1 million of
$1 million,
all that money.
yes.
Not knowing how to pay your staff or like survive. So in those darkest moments where I can imagine almost feels like you are like struggling to stay afloat, but how do you then strike the balance between getting things done and having faith?
I'd say I still struggle, especially I think Jamology days were one of the darkest days in my life because it happened during COVID and we couldn't see each other. I had to just push through every single day because I was just exhausted and burned out. I think that is something I should have taken a step back to reflect more, but we didn't have the luxury of time because everything has to happen. We had to pay rent. Each day you let pass by is another day you're paying rent of the factory, of the space, of your employees, everything. So it's just about balancing how to really get the work done and also like care for your mental well-being.
Yeah.
But you can't also just give everything up and go on a sabbatical, because you have responsibilities. Owning a company, starting a business is like having a family. And that's even bigger than your family because you have employees to care for. They also have families and children to feed. So it's not just about yourself.
It shows that you really stuck by your business and your employees even when times get hard, right? And I think it's so beautiful that could be something that you held so closely to your heart because of your upbringing.
For me, I think my struggle, the character molding period during Jamology really set myself for success for The Apprentice. I really think the whole journey, the whole struggle, learning how to manage people better, learning how to be a better leader. I learned so much. I wasn't a good leader initially because I had my way of doing things, but it had humbled me greatly. And knowing that any level of success can be taken away from you in just the blink of an eye is just mind-boggling to me.